the math situation, and Stephen Lisi is touting the World Economic Forum recognizing Ontario. He says, strong endorsement from the World Economic Forum recognizing Ontario as a global leader in financial literacy and real-life math. Holy cow. Equipping kids, this is the World Economic Forum. It says, equipping kids with priceless financial knowledge. Yes, if they don't understand math, then finances mean anything we say they mean, says the World Economic Forum. By embracing a radical left worldview and math curriculum, Ontario government betrays their supporters and betrays common sense. I say again, what supporters? I don't think there's many supporters left of this progressive conservative government in Ontario. Spencer Fernando lays it out, and he says, by embracing radical left worldview and math curriculum, Ontario government betrays their supporters. Yes, many think it's an exaggeration when we talk about how all of our institutions have been captured by the radical left and how neo-communist style thinking is so pervasive that even conservatives are signing on to the insane thinking. But perhaps the revelation that Ontario PC government is pushing a radical far-left curriculum that calls math racist and Eurocentric will be enough to wake people to the danger. If you haven't seen it yet, brace yourselves, as the worst sections are purely insane, or pure insanity. An equitable mathematics curriculum recognizes that mathematics can be subjective. Mathematics is often positioned as an objective and pure discipline. However, the content and context in which it is taught is the mathematicians, who are celebrated, and the importance that is placed upon mathematics by society are subjective. Mathematics has been used to normalize racism and marginalization of non-Eurocentric mathematical knowledges, and a decolonial, anti-racist approach to mathematics education makes visible its historic roots and social constructions. The Ontario Grade 9 mathematics curriculum emphasizes the need to recognize and challenge systems of power and privilege both inside and outside the classroom in order to eliminate the systemic barriers and to serve students belonging to groups that have been historically disadvantaged and underserved in mathematics education. What the? This is straight up Marxist, neo-communist style thinking. It pushes a worldview that links race and math, pushes divisive anti-European sentiment into the realm of what is supposed to be objective learning, and then gets into talk of a decolonial anti-racist approach to math. As you well know, none of that has anything to do with math. It does, however, have to do with demoralizing young people, making them hate their country, making them hate Western civilization, and bringing up a generation of people who will seek to oppose Western capitalist democracies, opening things up for radical far-left ideology to dominate at all levels. The left has been ruthlessly smart about this, capturing the education system and then using it to push ideas and ways of thinking that would never have been accepted through the democratic process. The question now is, why the heck are conservative governments going along with it? Nothing has been conserved. Ask yourself this question. If an NDP government in Ontario had brought in that curriculum, how would the Conservatives be reacting? Likely it would be immense outrage, and that outrage would be justified. And yet we see an ostensibly conservative government bringing in ideas that will push a radical far-left worldview, a worldview that is all about undermining the foundations of our country. Why would they do this? Have they been captured internally? Are they simply weak? Are they cowards? A bit of all of the above? And make no mistake, it's not only this curriculum being brought in under the Ontario PC government, but they are defending it. The Conceptual James tweet about subjective math in the Ontario curriculum is going viral. This is the response from Stephen Lisi's office, doubling down that math is subjective and used to normalize racism. So here is the Conceptual James is James Lindsay, the guy who has been on Joe Rogan talking about critical race theory and the damage it can do, etc. I don't know why this isn't popping up on the other side, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It says, I know I read this yesterday, but it's worth going through. Caitlin Clark, spokesperson for Minister Lisi's office, said the new curriculum represents one that reflects a changing world. We're taking action to ensure all children, especially those facing barriers to success, have meaningful pathways to quality learning, graduation, access to post-secondary education, and good-paying jobs, she said. The thing is, though, that doesn't address any of the issues, right? On one level, that is absolutely pathetic. The Ontario PCs are giving to the radical far left people who will always hate them and who will always move the goalpost and demand a further shift to the left. At the same time, they're betraying their own supporters, common sense people who want math to focus on math, rather than trying to indoctrinate young people to hate this country. On another level, however, this is incredibly dangerous. When you get on a plane or get in a car or use an elevator, you're benefiting from a long history of mathematics being used as a way to acknowledge and respond to the objective reality we face. Reality doesn't care how someone feels, what their ideology is, or what their race is. It simply exists. If you use the wrong approach to build a building, the building will fall. If you get math wrong constructing an airplane, the airplane will crash. Objective reality cannot be evaded or altered. It can only be accepted and responded to. That's why it's appalling to see Ontario shift towards teaching math as a subjective discipline, since it not only carries political risks, but also actual physical risks. Do you want the next generation of engineers and physicists and architects and so on to think of their job through a lens of racism, decolonization, and subjectivity? I sure as heck don't. The thing is though, when you get those professions in, they won't be people from Ontario, because the people who are hiring for those positions will not hire the people from Ontario, because the people from Ontario will not be smart enough or trained well enough to do the job right, because the buildings they build will fall. The building or the planes they create will crash because they don't understand the math, because it feels wrong and icky, right? And it's wrong to do that to people, but here we are. Our government is enthusiastically doing that to people, right? And it's incredible. People are noticing, but is it enough? Is it going to matter? Maxime Bernier says there are no feminist math, indigenous math, black math, or any other kind of math. There is only mathematics, only physics, only astronomy. Those who reject this truth are woke fanatics bent on destroying our own civilization. These people are saying, trust the science, trust the science. If I feel like, well, their science is subjective, can I just disregard it? How about subjective math for my taxes? Would that work for the Canadian government? Listen, I feel like this 1,000 should be more like $8. Like $8, not $1,000, like $8. I feel like that's how much I should be taxed from all of this, right? Like subjectively, just because I feel like it. And I mean, I've been taught that that's just fine in Canada, right? It's okay. That's what I feel like, so I can do it, right? Yeah. I'm identifying as a person who only makes $8. I know that this bank sent that amount of money. That's what they say. But I feel like it was $8. So who's right? Nobody can know. Math is subjective. Yahtzee, right? Thanks, the government of Ontario. Dr. Cargill, I think, says math is objective in fact and allows children to acquire problem solving and reasoning skills, teaches logic and critical thinking. Ford Nation, Doug Ford and Stephen Lisi, government believe math is subjective and racist. They replace reality of objective math and facts, truths, with illusion of subjective ideologies. Yeah, they're ideologically driven, and it's completely inappropriate. And there isn't an opposition party standing up to this. There's no coherent, there isn't an opposition education critic saying this is what math should be, very clearly just drawing it out. This is what we should have in our schools. This is what we should not. These people are using World Economic Forum as saying, oh, we're great. Look, the World Economic Forum loves us, right? Great. That's a terrifying statement. Thanks, Mr. Lisi.